Hey everybody, filming from the car, because that's where I have time for it today. This afternoon when my kids were napping, I finished The Magicians by Lev Grossman. This book was just so all over the place. Okay? I was video blogging a little bit while I was reading it, but my reading is like so sporadic. I'll read where I'll read like 4 or 5 days in a row. I'll just read like not even a whole chapter like each day kind of thing. Like so very little. So like I don't like video blog after I read like 5 pages. So and then one day I'll just like have time and I'll sit down and I'll read like 150 pages or whatever, which in this book's case, that's like more than a third of the book. So I only have, I think, 3 little video blog videos. So I'm not sure if I'm going to post the whole video blog or just this video as maybe like a spoiler for your review. I won't say a lot, but this is basically the premise of this book is, okay, so this is a real world, like me and my life, and there's really like this could, okay, sorry, okay, so this book would be if me in my real life got my Hogwarts letter and found out that Hogwarts was real and I got to go to magic school and that I was in love with like C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia, and then after I was done school I found out that like Narnia was a real place and I got to go there. That is basically this book. The main character, who is basically a loser. I really hated him, for the most part. Anyways, so he's obsessed with these childhood stories, which sound basically like a ripped off Narnia. Like it's like 4 or 5 kids who are siblings who stumble upon this different world called Fillory, where there are animals that can talk and like shit like that, and they do adventures, and they are like the kings and queens of this world when they're there. But similarly to Narnia, these kids just kind of like stumble upon it, and any time that they end up kind of going back, it's like totally random. It's when they're needed. They can't go back like whenever they want kind of thing. And then once you get to a certain age, like in your real world, you don't go back anymore kind of thing. So he is obsessed with these books. Like he's read them a million times. He basically like hates his life as his normal life and like just like daydreams all the time and wishes that he could just go and that magic was real and whatever. And then one day he does find out that magic is real and that he has some sort of talent for it. And he goes and does basically like an entrance exam for this book's version of Hogwarts, which is called, oh, I'm blanking on it. It's like Break Bills or Break Field or something like that. Some prestigious school, except this is an adult novel, not a YA, which like there's not too many like adulty things about the novel. But anyways, so the age of the main character is like he's finished high school already, and this magic school is like he would go to it instead of a regular like college or university. So that's basically the premise of the book. So he is like a normal human, like kind of angsty and like hating his life and like depressed all the time, and then he finds out magic is real. So like that's cool, and he spends like the book is like only 400 pages, and it's like 5 or 6 years in one book. Like they really jump through. The magic school is kind of him going to school for magic is about the first half ish, maybe a little bit less of the book. Very super boring. Like I really, there was a couple of kind of events or like things that would happen that were, I guess, like added some interest to it. But I was like, well, like, you know, like, are they gonna get to something here, like something interesting? And then, like, you find out that not only does Fillory exist, but they know how they're gonna get there. And like him and his little group of buddies go there. And at this point, we're still like a little bit boring, kind of. And then they just kind of like jump in to like just this crazy adventure where they're actually like using magic and like fighting, and it's like a kind of like a battle thing, and it was like really awesome. Yeah, it was like 100 pages of the 400-page book, the awesomeness. And then at the end it kind of got boring again for the last, like, I don't know, you kind of didn't know what happened. And it jumped in the future again a little bit. And it was like he was like giving up magic, and he was just gonna go and like have like a normal job kind of thing. And I was like, really? And then at the end of the book, his friends come and like, oh, wait, let's go. We're gonna go and be the kings and queens of Fillory. And you're like, okay. Like, I'm so, seriously, this book was all over the place. Like, I really found it super boring. I hated the main character. I really didn't like him. Like, there was 100 pages. Like, I mean, like, that's my ballpark. Like, it might have been 150. But it was for sure, like, a good 100 pages of, like, adventureness and, like people, like, it was like a battle, and they were like going for something, like, you know, and people died. It was good like that. And I was like, why, like, how? I feel like so much build up, and for like give me more of that, like, so I give the book maybe like 3 stars. I feel like a quarter of the book was like really good, and like the rest of it I could have like done away with. I really didn't like the whole, like, his going to school, the entire time of him going to school and learning magic was so uninteresting. And just, like, nothing happened. Like, maybe they were doing some character development for, like, the secondary characters, I suppose. But, no. Like, you could have completely, like, cut that. And given, like, maybe, like, a chapter or two. And then of, like, hey, we're magic people, and we're in love with our childhood stories. And, oh, look, we're finding out they're real. Like, you could have cut out the whole first half of the book. I was really, yeah, I don't know. I wanted to get it done because I wanted it to be in my, like, June wrap-up. But if I hadn't, like, had that, like, where I was just pushing myself to finish it, I might have just, like, put it down and, like, like, you're halfway through the book and you're still bored? Like, this is a problem. So, I'm like, do I want to pick up the next one? It sounds like the next one's should start, like, they're going to back to Fillory to be the kings and queens. Now, I don't know how much adventure it's going to be considering how the first one ended, like what happened at the end of the battle or whatever there, because it kind of seemed like a done deal. But anyways, I don't think that this book lives up to the hype. There's like 3 pages of praise from like reviewers at the beginning of it, and the thing that George R.R. Martin says on the back, something about the magicians is to Harry Potter how like aged whiskey is to weak tea. Like, no, I'm sorry. Harry Potter was completely magical from the first moment to the very end. And it grabbed you, and it had you in the story. And like, Harry Potter changes people's lives. Like, this book I had a lot of problems with it. It's supposed to be an adult book, but other than like the adult part of like adding like the sexualness to people's relationships, other than that, there would be like occasional like swearing or like lewd comments about like people's like private parts. And I feel like minor tweaking, and it could have been a YA, and it probably would have been done better. Yeah. Oh no, this book definitely doesn't live up to hype. Like, maybe 3 stars. Maybe. I feel like bad giving it 2 because like there was like a really good chunk, like there was a chunk of the book that was really good for me, like that I loved, but like I barely even got to it before I almost DNF'd it. So, I don't know. So that's what I thought of that one. All right. So you guys have a good night. The sun's almost set. Do you want to see? Right. It's going down. It was a very beautiful day here today. Anyways, well, see you next time.